Hi everyone. Let's go through how to add forms to your Builder pages and content. So I'm going to show you two ways of doing this. One is the easy way. This is through using other services like Google Forms, Typeform, Wufoo, whatever other service to make a form and embed it on one of your pages. And then the more advanced way where you can build a form completely custom inside a Builder, connected to your backend exactly like you would if your developers wrote it all and use those forms and customize them around your site, content, and pages. So let's get started with easy mode. So the easiest thing to do here is to make a form with a form making service. I'll take Google Forms as an example, but there's tons of these. So I made a beautiful Google form. It's got like a name and a field. So when you're going to share these, every service will usually have two ways of sharing. One is URL and one as embed code. So let's use the URL strategy first. So Builder can take just about any type of thing from a URL and embed it on your pages. So if we go over to Builder and we hit Show More from the Insert tab on the left, we can grab the embed block, stick it in here, double click or hit the Edit button to show the options, and just paste that URL. And it figured out how to embed this content from the URL pretty easily. This looks great, and if this is all we need to do, that's awesome. I mean, we can bump this around, so we can add some text and a title and do all sorts of stuff here, but we can publish it, and then Google Forms will handle all the, let you enter the answers, validate them, tell them that they submitted successfully, etc. Now, in some cases where you want to embed something that maybe Builder didn't recognize from the URL using this embeddable object type, we can also paste custom code. So you might have seen on services like YouTube or anything like these forum services, a lot of them will have iframe or embed HTML. So if we have something like that, same thing goes. You could copy it here, go back to Builder, but this time use the custom code embed option. In this case, we can drop that, hit edit, and then right in this code section, just embed that custom code. Cool. And like you might expect, again, you could style it however you want, move it, position it. You can't style the contents inside. That's how these sort of embeddable forms work. Whether you use the embed block or the custom code block, you can position this and put this form where you want, but you're going to have to use their service for how you customize and stylize that form, unless you do the more advanced way, which I'll show you now. So if you want to do advanced forms in Builder, note that first you'll need to have a developer because you can construct the basics of this form right here in Builder, but your developer will need to be involved to wire up how this gets sent to your backend, whatever that is, whether it's a third-party service like Klaviyo, etc. people have used, or your own backend, your own special API. We can do this in Builder by making the UI right here, and then having a little snippet of JavaScript to handle the form sending in its own custom way. And anyway, let's just jump into that. So again, if we're here in our Insert tab on the left, we can hit Show More, and then we can just grab the form block and drop it in. Now, we can customize this however we want, like usual, width 500, center it, all that good stuff. Style it however you want to. So unlike those other options, you can actually add whatever styling you want here as well. So we can bump up, add some nice padding, to these inputs, add a border radius because rounded corners look way better than without a lot of the time, add kind of nice little borders, whatever. You can get completely custom here. You can add whatever inputs you like. Always just remember, when you add an input, make sure to specify its name field. That's how when you send the form, it knows, for instance, this is I'll make an email form just by deleting this. It knows that the email being sent is this value. So in my case, this input takes an email and its name is email. If I want to copy and paste this and say I'm going to take an age, so I'll say the default here is 25, the name is age, and we can change the type here, of course, also to number. That just validates this as a proper number. There's a few other things you might find handy, like date pickers and whatnot. These are just standard HTML input types. And we can copy and paste this here to say, what is your age? And again, most important thing, just make sure it specifies the name of this is age so that when it sends somewhere, it's sent as age equals 25. And up here, because this name is email, it sends as email equals whatever that value is. And then of course we can customize our submit button too. Like let's give it a nice color that's not red. There we go. Maybe make the text white. Yeah, so kind of ugly, but whatever. You get the idea. Now we need to hook it up to a back end. We've got a couple options here. One is if you just have a URL to send it to, you could send it to that URL, either with JavaScript or without. This is where you'll need your developer to be involved to know what that format of that API is and send it. And a lot of times just setting as a URL works fine, but you also have a more advanced option here too to fully customize how it sends. Now, forgive me, we're going to get technical for a second, but what you can have your developer do is jump over to the Actions section from the Data tab and type in, well, first click New Action, then type in Submit as the action. This adds an event handler for submit, and then we can handle this submission manually. So we can do like fetch your API method post body JSON stringify, and we can take those fields that we had. So we had a name field. Actually, in this case, we had email. And go event.current_target.query selector name equals email dot value. And we can pass along the age field. If you want to get fancy, you can get dynamic. Just find all the inputs and values and send it in whatever format you need. And that's it. And we can say then state.form success equals true, or on error, state.form error equals, maybe we say errored, maybe we give a Boolean, doesn't matter. If you haven't seen before, I would recommend looking at a few of our tutorials. For instance, if you want to make really interesting dynamic forms here, like if you want it to be a product order form and you want to have sort of drop in components that are automatically wired up to what are sort of the the product variations, like it can automatically display like the colors for this product or the different sizes with availability. You can drop that in here as well and still allow customization in the UI. So if you haven't seen that, I would check out a couple tutorials to get really advanced here. One is if you use React using your custom React components in the editor, this lets you have a lot of sort of connected to data and sort of pre-customizable and logical form entry components like variations, colors, or whatever advanced use cases you have. I would also recommend looking at our custom data, just attaching any type of custom data into the UI's tutorial, as well as states and actions. This is useful for being able to set a state property for the form was successful, and you can wire that up to the UI to say, congratulations, you submitted the form as a message, or there was an error, sorry, please try again. And you might also want to look into turning one of these into a symbol so it can easily be dropped in a lot of pages with all that logic encapsulated. And anyway, when you built out your form, it's exactly the way you love, and it's got all that data attached on how it sends. I would recommend saving this as a template, and we'll make it, our great form. Now you can drop this into any page. All the functionality is already built in, and you can customize it for that page. Like on some pages, you might want it to be a bar at the bottom where all the inputs are side by side. On most other pages, you probably want this to look a whole lot less ugly, like actually have some padding for this button, and maybe actually have some font size for this button. There we go. That's quite a bit less ugly. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or could use some advice on how to make and send custom data with custom forms, please feel free to reach out, Steve@Builder.io, or any of us at help@Builder.io. And any feedback on our tutorials or questions you have, just let me know. Thanks for watching.